I'm Miriam Joy and welcome to my studio. Today we're going to be working on the foil poinsettia, and this is a real fun project. This is 36 gauge foil, and a lot of you have been asking for the foil, so for you, just for you, we've got it in stock. We do have 5 sheets of 9 by 12 for you, so to make this project really easy to do. So we're going to start, scoot that off to the side here, with our foil, and I have most of it pre-done, so I just need a little piece, but you could probably use about 1 sheet. And what I do is I line up my leaves, and the first ones I make probably about 2 inches. So I take my ruler and I just lay there, so I know that all of this row needs to be 2 inches big, and start with that first row. And so we're just going to start here, and I don't use a pattern. If you need to use a pattern, you can. All we're doing is making a leaf, and we're going to just lay it there. I'm going to bring the middle up, and the 3 little veins on the side. So we've got it like that. So do 5 of those for our first layer, and then we're going to move it up 1 inch. So our second one would be, and when you're working with these, don't have these too touched, because we need to come in and cut off to the side a little bit. So we need that room. And they can be fatter or skinnier. Each leaf is different, so don't worry about it being exactly the same. Our vein down the middle and the other 2 on the side. And I don't bring this one quite to a point. You can. We're just going to stick it in the quick wood. It doesn't matter. So we're going to do 6 of the outside larger leaves. And then we're going to do 1 big one for the green part of the leaf. I'm using my number 2 tool, and I am working on craft foam. You have to have your craft foam for this to indent, otherwise it's not going to indent. I also do have a quick wood video, excuse me, not a quick wood, a leaf video with the foil feathers. It's a lot of fun too. And on this one, I'm going to run this down the middle, and then we're going to run individual veins. Okay, so we've got our 3 different size leaves, so we needed 5 of these, 6 of these, and 3 or 4 of these. Now I'm going to use my little craft scissors. Now I flipped it over so I have the raised size up, and if your question on which side is which, the raised side you should be able to feel with your fingers sticking out. Now if you see the curvature right here, you don't want to cut on the curve. You want to cut on the bottom of the curve, so you get all of that curve. You're not taking away from it. That's real important. And I'm just going to cut. And I like the 36 gauge the best. It's a little bit thicker than a lot of the foils, so I have more control of it. It lets me, keeps the form better, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. It can be really, really sharp, so watch your points at the tips. You may just want to just nick it just a tad. And I'm just going to cut the bigger leaf and the outside green leaf. Use your imagination. There's all kinds of things you can make with the foil. Don't get stuck just thinking this is all you can do. Take some of your patterns and just try working with it. My foil work is a lot different because of my tools. These are all Miriam Joy tools, and I don't overwork foil. So we have the 2 that I'm going to work with right now, and I'm going to take them and lay them back down again. And I was working with my number 2 tool, the small end. So I'm going to switch to my 0 tool, the larger end. And what I'm going to do is now, instead of near the outside, I'm going to go near the inside with my 0 tool. And you'll notice that the edges curl up. So we're getting those really curled in now. And we're going to go over here and do the other side as well. And then we're going to do down the middle again, same direction we did it the first time, and on the inside. So we've got that really nice and pointy, and it kind of curves and makes the leaves curl in. So we're going to do the big leaf now. We're going to do the same thing. You want to stay near the inside, not the outside, and that kind of curves that in. So we're getting that in, flipped under, and we're going to go all the way down this one. And we're going to do the veins, just again, making them deeper. And then I'm going to do it one more time right down that middle. And you see that even curve in more. So I have a nice leaf. Now, these are actually the same color, this and this. There's something I did different between the two of them. I cleaned them with alcohol first, the foil. And you could probably do that before you cut the piece. You could just do all of it at once. And that way you wouldn't have to do it now and worry about messing anything up. And another thing I did is I did 2 layers on them instead of 1 layer. Now, we're working with alcohol inks. And your alcohol inks you can find in the scrapbook section. Also, if you want one particular color or you're having a hard time finding it, you can buy it from bluewhale.com, and also Giraffe, Laugh Bob, and Sherry Briscoe also carry them. And I love alcohol inks. You can use it on the glass as well as the foil. Now, another thing that I do with my brush, before I dip it right in and absorbs all of that into the brush, and it just holds it there, and it's not really going to spread it out, I dip it into water. And I do this with a lot of things, including my varnish. Then I bring it back out, and we're going to dry it off so it's damp. But we're not going to waste all of that in our brush, but yet it's not going to water it down. And it also helps your brush be nice and soft instead of hard and coarse. Now, I'm going to use a glove just today. Normally I wouldn't, but we're doing more videos. Always shake it when you're pouring it in, and it does absorb this up really well. Seems like it's taking a lot, but it's not. It's just the way it comes out of the bottle. We're going to do, there's our first layer. And it dries really, really fast. Do just a tad more. And we're going to go ahead and put a second layer on it. And I did, most of the time I do not varnish my glass or foil, but I did do a fine mist. But you can't spray it. It has to be super, super fine mist. If you not comfortable with getting a really fine mist on it, don't spray it with the varnish. Okay, so we've got that nice and red. Now, because it is alcohol, of course it's going to dry faster, but don't go over it like I'm doing right now. It's going to start to pick up the paint. So we're going to go and do our green leaf. And I use an old brush, one that I don't value much anymore because it's going to stain it and be hard on your brush. Oh, I need more than that. And the color I used on the red was pepper red. And then this is like a fluorescent green. It doesn't have the name on it. They're not doing that as much anymore, and I don't really like that. So any green basically is okay. So I'm going to do our leaf. And like I said, it seems like it's taking a lot, but it's not, because it's such a little lid. You're not really pouring that much in there. Dry just a tad. Alcohol dries very, very fast. Make sure you have all the foil. Now on the first one I took a different color and ran it down the lines, and I don't think I like that as much as just the one brighter color. I wouldn't do that again. So now that we've got all of our pieces done, we're going to put it together. And my center base is quickwood, and the reason it is quickwood is so that I can stick it in and it's going to dry fast. And it has a heavier base, so it's not going to float around anywhere. I took all my jewelry off already. I'm going to use vegetable spray on my hands. We're going to take our quickwood, and we want a bigger piece of quickwood. Trying to see how big that is. So probably about 1.5 inches of the quickwood. Push that back, put that little metal piece back onto the quickwood. Put it back into the tube. Quickwood is a 2-part wood putty epoxy that they use for repairs, but we treat it like a clay. And the 2 pieces are right there, 1 and 2. I removed the plastic wrapper. That's really, really important. I can't tell you how many students come to class and they forget to remove that plastic piece. Now to activate our 2-part, to make it hard, we're going to knead it. And kneading it is going to activate it. If you ever work with quickwood and it doesn't get hard enough or didn't get hard, you did not knead it well enough or did not knead it at all. So that's real important. So we've got the marbleizing going on. So we've got to get past the marbleizing. And I'm also going to take some vegetable spray and put it right there. So I can set this down and it won't stick to my wax paper. Got a little bit too much. And the quickwood will also get warm to the touch. You'll feel it get a little bit warm, so you know that it's ready. So once it's all nice, we're going to kind of make a center here that we're going to be sticking our poinsettia into. And that's kind of, we want the base kind of flat, so when we set it down, it's going to have a flat base. It's not going to wobble around on us. And then I'm going to go ahead and color it, and I am going to use my embossing powders. These are also found in this scrapbook section. Also, the people that I mentioned before also carry them. And I'm going to use gold. And you want the shiny kind. You don't want the real coarse kind that you have to heat up. And because this is quickwood and it's sticky, it's going to stick right on. Now I'm not going from there to there. I'm pouncing it off of my lid first. And then we're going to start to cover our coat, our poinsettia. You could do yellow if you wanted, or whatever color, brown. You could even stick things in it in the middle when you were all done if you wanted to as well. Okay. There's that. All right, we're going to start building our layers here. I think we need that just a little bit taller. And I am going to start with my 5 little ones, and I kind of want them tipped up a little bit. And I'm going to show you a trick that I did end of this too, to keep them a little bit up instead of falling down a little bit. So I want 5 leaves. Now, if you have to move them around, go ahead and move them around a little bit. That's okay. Get them kind of adjusted. Now we're going to come back in and we're going to do our next layer. And remember, this one's going to be 6 this time. And you could start at the bottom. It's just the way I did it. I think I put that guy in backwards. Three. 4. 5. And 6. All right, now we're going to come back in and we're going to put our bottom flower leaves on our flower. And I'm going to put one there. And one there. And I kind of want to keep these odd numbers, so I'm actually going to put 2 together. For our 3rd layer. And I'm going to come in with my tool and I'm going to just kind of clean this up. Anything that needs to be pushed back in, push it back in. Let's use a little bit larger one for that. And then we're going to put the polka dots in the middle. And any of the color that's come off, you can kind of come in and clean that up as well. But in the middle, we're going to poke little dots all the way around that center. And once this is dry, I'm going to come in and I'm going to put glue in those dots. Just in those dots. You can take those dots down that side too. That way it doesn't just looks like it's supposed to be that way. And I'm going to put a copper color glitter in those dots just to really make that have the Christmas sparkle. Now, another thing I did, I've kind of messed with it, and I might do it backwards from the way I did it, you know, stopping back and looking at it a little bit. I might build it from the bottom up a little bit. And I laid different things or tissue underneath this all the way around, kind of where I wanted it to dry, and let it dry that way. And then that way I get the height on those leaves instead of the heaviness keep pulling them down. But that is how we did our foil poinsettia. And like I said, we do have the foil for you in the quick wood and other of the tools if you need anything on our website at miriamjoy.com. So just jump on over there. The 5 packets, the 5 sheets of foil will go a long, long ways as well. And that is something that you have asked for that we do now have on our website. So thank you for joining me today. Please have a Merry Christmas and God bless.